Today is the day we are going to be ripping out a ton of the annuals out of the landscape. Hi, I'm Heidi from Garden Crossings, and the landscape bed we're going to tackle today is the new varieties for 2024 annual bed. And before we rip it out, I want to show you just how beautiful these plants are. It is the, fourth week in October right now, and these have really outperformed even our wildest expectations of these plants. They held on, they even handled a little bit of cold. We've had a couple frosts, not super hard, but nonetheless, we have had some frosts and the colors are still looking beautiful. So let's take a quick run through and just look at the flowers. So there really is no gentle way of doing this. You just get in there, get a little shovel and just start ripping these things out. These are the Nemesia, the coconut, Sensatia coconut, and these plants really got big this year. Much bigger than what I was even thinking they might get. So basically just taking the shovel, kind of lifting them, and then they can take the top of the plant and pull it out pretty easy. There's still a lot of color, even this late in the season. Look at that, that was one James Britannia. That whole plant is one thing. So these annuals really have filled in and done quite an impressive job this year. So today they're just taking out the annuals. They'll come through later on and trim back perennials and shrubs as needed. But we want to get the annuals out before it really starts getting super cold and things aren't looking really great. We've got the Verbena, Cherry Burst, the Sweet Sangria, Mini Vistas, still looking fabulous. I should probably teach them about my clip and roll technique. Look at that, just a matte of beautiful color. You guys are moving so fast, the camera's probably out of order already. Look at that, cleared out just with a little digging. Sweet potato vine still looking good. It's amazing how these plants, they all started off as a 4.5-inch size container. They've just filled out fantastic this year. Look at that, one sweet potato vine plant right there. Just so much beautiful flower coverage. It's really kind of sad to see it go, but there's also something very refreshing about seeing it go and getting cleaned up as well. That is crazy. That's all, that's the Verbena, the Superbena. Sweet potato vine, bigger than the girls. The nice thing is we keep this area decently watered, so the plants really aren't that hard to pull out. The shovel just kind of helps lift them, and a lot of times they'll get the root ball and all that was planted. Just crazy to see all this foliage. So what we'll do is we'll bring this all to our compost pile, and all of the plants will all get composted. We have a friend of ours that owns an excavating company, so he just comes with his dump trailer and his loader, loads it all up, brings it back to his home where he composts it all. Sometimes he's lucky enough with perennials and such, and gets to have some flowers the following year if they come back. It's one way to get the job done though. Many hands make light work. This team is the team that has been maintaining the gardens all season long. They started off with planting them in April, May, and then they're usually out here a couple times a week weeding or trimming or just maintaining and keeping all the gardens looking beautiful, and they do a fantastic job. So they are definitely part of the reason why we have such beautiful gardens for you to come out and visit. I'm really surprised at how big that James Britannia got, because that's more of a southern plant. So we must have had enough heat for it to really just thrive. Tackling the Trinia right now. So the coleus, oh my word, that plant, I will be curious once I get in there to see how many plants it actually was, because it covered nearly probably 6 to 8 foot in this landscape. It's a trailing coleus, but it's certainly also just spread. So definitely with a coleus, it's the cherry drop. Less is more. You don't need a ton. It does a big job in the garden. So how many coleus do you think are in there, Amy? 3?
Maybe a couple more than that, but pretty close.
It's a fight just getting it out. They keep saying this is still one, this is still the same one. So they're thinking it's probably about 3 of them that are in there. So it's a monster. Yeah, it definitely was happy in that spot. So this garden bed is on drip irrigation, so it gets watered regularly, and I think this one also gets fertilized fairly regular as well. I think there's a fertilizer in this particular drip line. So extra happy place for the plants. So we do plant a few perennials in this bed because we want to have just kind of the different changes going on. I think perennials always add just a, I don't know, just an ever-changing look to a garden. And then from year to year, this is also our Proven Winners new variety bed for the new varieties of annuals. So if you ever do stop out to the garden center, this is where you're going to find all of the new Proven Winner varieties for the upcoming year. So if you want to kind of see them before the next season, so you can kind of know what to anticipate as far as the growth habits of the plants and just what's new and upcoming in the following season, this is definitely the place for you to check out all of those beautiful plants. That coleus left a mess. Wow.
Yeah, that's kind of brittle.
Yeah. Kind of like juicy, watery stems, I think.
Yeah.
So pretty much that's how fast it took them to get out all those annuals. The rest in here is perennials, so they'll come through once all the annuals are out of all of the gardens. That's just what they're tackling right now, is just getting all of the annuals removed. Once they're all out, they'll come back maybe today, maybe another day, depends on how far they get today, and just come and trim back the perennials that are in this bed. With the perennials, we pretty much do all of our fall trimming, or all of our cleanup in the fall, because that's when we have time to do it. Once spring comes around, we're full on getting things planted. So most things do get their pruning or trimming done in the fall. Now there's a few shrubs that we don't trim in the fall because they bloom off of the previous season's growth, so those we don't trim. But yeah, that was quick cleanup, getting rid of all of those annuals. There's just something kind of refreshing about that. Now we do have a few aquapots. I'm not sure if they're going to tackle those today or not, like this one in front of us. It looks pretty gnarly and just ratty looking. But those elephant ears, wow, they are doing fabulous. One other thing I'll point out in this bed, since we're talking about it anyways, is like I said, it's mid to late October, and these 2 shrubs here have really surprised me with what they've done this year. Now we've had a very warm fall, so the things have really done very well, but I have never seen a wee white this late in the season with that much flower coverage. That is a ton of flowers for that plant. Now we can see it got hit by frost a little bit because the blooms are a little bit kind of brown looking, but there is a lot of nice white and pink ones still in here. So that is excellent flower coverage for October here in our Michigan garden. Also, the Pugster butterfly bush, once this baby got started, it has not stopped as either. And look at all these beautiful purple blooms on it. This is the Pugster blue. It is super fragrant. It's just, it smells so yummy. But this plant too has really put on an excellent fall show, and the late season pollinators have been enjoying that particular plant. One more, because it's right there in front of us, Daisy May. This is its third bloom cycle of the season. This does get trimmed back or deadheaded when needed. And for October, that's a beautiful display of color there. So really impressed with those, in particular 3 plants this year, and just how well that they've done. So now the team's going through and just kind of raking everything up, getting rid of any little weeds that may be in the garden. There's a lot of soil in there, so I don't know, we might have to remove some next spring. What do you think, Amy? Yeah, but that's what happens when you put bark down and continue to put plants in year after year. The soil does build up, so we'll see. That might be something that has to get pulled out a little bit, or we'll just mound it up and continue to use it. So that is how it is done. Just one of the beds of many here at Garden Crossings getting cleaned up today by our wonderful team getting it done. I'm Heidi from Garden Crossings.